amazing experience for me, being
On a sailboat
sailing in the Aegean
and feeling like
a trip of Odyssey. As you know, the god of the sea in our mythology is Poseidon.
and Poseidon gives all the
Bad, let us say, experiences and worries of for Odysseus.
Odysseus is everybody knows about Odyssey is the person who wants to reach Ithaca, but Poseidon always brings obstacles, and he comes much later to his place.
This is something
Coded.
there is a code that has to do with our soul
Itself,
why we are here, what we have to go through, and what's the goal. So Homer has coded all these meanings about the soul in his two big works, Iliad
and Odyssey. Analyzing Poseidon, we will understand what is the real cause of all this, let us say, torture of Odysseus. The key to understand the meanings of mythology, which is not just a fairy tale, mythology has coded some world symbolic cosmic truths in it. And the key to understand this is the analysis of the Greek words that are used to describe the myth. I must tell you a few words before analyzing Poseidon about etymology. What is this? This is a characteristic only of the Greek language, which has to do with the analysis of a word in the parts that consist the word, and analyzing these parts you understand the whole meaning of the word. This is what we call etymology, because etymon
Means the truth in ancient Greek.
So if you want to find the truth, think about the words themselves, analyze them, and see the constituent parts of the words, and you will understand what the poet or the philosopher has to convey to you, has to say. I'll tell you an example. The word, let us say, agathon. Agathon means the best. It's the name of a god, which is the virtuous god. This in Greek words, in the Greek language, is analyzed in two words. The word agaston, which means admirable, and the word thon, which means very fast. So what is the fastest in the world that you can admire is the light. Because we know that the speed of light is the highest in the universe. So God is light, and it's called agathon. And the analysis of the word agathon gives us this meaning. This is a very simple example. Plato has written a book on that, and gives the structure, the plan of the structure of the Greek language. So Socrates talks in this book and gives 167 examples of the analysis of some key words in the Greek language, among which are the names of the gods. So I borrow the analysis of Socrates about Poseidon, and this is what I will tell you today. This book is called Kratilos. Kratilos is the name of the book of Plato, and is called about the real truthfulness of the Greek words, about the correctness of our language. It's another title of the book. So I borrow this analysis of Plato given by Socrates, that talks about Poseidon. And I will give you 3 ways to analyze this etymology, to see what this Poseidon, which is in the Greek language is Poseidon, means. So the first one, the analysis, the etymological analysis in the first place, is the one that comes, Poseidon comes from Posis, thus. What is Posis, thus? Posis means boss. You see the word boss in English is from the ancient Greek word Posis, is the master of the. What is the? The means earth. So the master of the earth is the water. So this is inside the word Poseidon. Another analysis, etymological analysis, comes from the Posidesmos. The word Poseidon comes from Posidesmos. What is Posidesmos? Posis, posin, also means the legs. And the smos is the binding of your legs. This is Posidesmos. Which means that without the power that Poseidon gives you, you cannot move. This is the picture of mermaid. Imagine the mermaid. So the legs are bound together, and she can move only in the water. She cannot move on the land. This is because Poseidon represents the feelings we have here. Our heart. Our heart is like the sea. Our sentimental state is like the sea. It can be turbulent, wavy, and when you are overly worried, when you are upset upside down, you know. So when something really makes you feel very bad, you cannot think clearly. So that's why we say Poseidon, which means the ruler of the feelings. This is actually the meaning in our Greek mythology. It gives you obstacles in acting. So if you don't feel well here in your heart, you cannot act. That's why your legs are bound. No, it's Posidesmos. And is the master of our heart, and what really makes the life of Odysseus difficult is the fact that something bothers him inside his heart. So all the obstacles that you have to overcome in order to reach your goal have to do with the clearing of your sentimental state. And when we say clearing, we don't mean that, okay, I don't hate somebody, or we mean all the negative feelings, including fear. You know, the king of fears is the fear of death. So, and this is what our mysteries in ancient world, in our ancient Greek, in ancient Greece, like Eleusinian mysteries and Cavirian mysteries in Samothrace and in Eleusis, which were very famous all over the world. And actually next year is dedicated to Eleusis, which has been announced as the capital, the cultural capital of Europe. Eleusis is where these mysteries were had taken place, were conducted. And when you participated in these mysteries, you learned how to overcome the fear of death. And this is very common in all our history and the heroes, and not only in mythology, but in real practice, like Leonidas, Marathon, and all this stuff. All these people have gone through these mysteries and have tried to take control of their sentimental state so that they don't feel down. Because if you feel down, you cannot act, I repeat. So when you hear Poseidon, this means sentimental state. Which which can be like the sea or like a lake. And when you have the lake, everything is calm, and we have the swans in the lake. That's why the swans are dedicated to Apollo, which Apollo is the god of light. So if you want to find the light here in your sentimental state, try to make it look like a lake. Be calm. Don't let yourself get upset. This is very difficult because all our life has to do with that. Now, the third way to analyze the word Poseidon is from P, Sion, Tha, which means the letter P in Greek is like a gate. This is how we write P. And we say porta is the door, pili is the gate. So these look like P. And you know pi in mathematics, this is P in the Greek language. So it's like going through a gate. So Poseidon gives you the idea, makes you think that you have to go through a gate. That's why it starts with P. And then we have Sion, Poseidon, Sion, which means shaking a lot. So when you go through this gate, you feel shaking, and then you have the word Tha or Ga, which means earth. It's like shaking the earth. Poseidon has to do with the earthquakes as well. And the Orphic hymn of Poseidon says that Orpheus calls him Enosigos, which means you make the land shake. And if you take it from another point of view, not the real material world, but inside you, in your soul, you see that what really shakes your body, is the feelings here, the sentimental state. So you may be calm, and if you hear some bad news, you get, upset, and it's like shaking inside you. So Poseidon is the gate through which you have to go through in order to learn how to calm down this agitation inside you. And this is inside his name, in the analysis of his name. I want also to tell you a few things about the symbol of the boat that Homer uses. Odysseus is a sailor, is a captain, let us say, and he has some sailors with him, his friends that always go together with him. Odysseus symbolizes the mind, and his friends that go with him is the real sentimental state of our soul. When Homer uses the symbol of the boat, imagine that my body looks like a boat. Here are the oars. Here in my heart is the central mast, where we have the sail on the mast. And all this side, my trunk, let us say, looks like the hull of a ship. So, and my mind is, let us say, the steering wheel, because it's like the steering wheel we have here. You can steer the boat wherever you like, and when you really hold the steering wheel. So the way you think makes you go the one way or the other. And my body symbolizes my incarnated soul, and Homer uses the symbol of the boat. So when we say that Odysseus sails from one island to the other, means that he will experience something new in his life, and he has to go over this turbulent sentimental state. Why Homer uses islands? You say the island of Kirgi, the island of Cyclops, and the island of Calypsus. What are the islands? What is the meaning of the islands? Imagine that the sea symbolizes our sentimental state, as we said. So when you are on an island, you feel stable and safe. So the islands symbolize, correspond to the state of our soul, which is calm and stable. In order to be able to overcome the turbulent sentimental state around you, you have to connect with the essence. And I must tell you, the word essence, our essence is our mind. It's not our body. Our bodies are our material thing that we enter when we are incarnated. But this body changes. Our mind and the color of our eyes do not change. Why? Imagine, what's the part of your body that never changes? It's the eyes. From the time of birth until you die. And when the person dies, this brightness of the eye disappears. It becomes, it's not that bright. The eye is not bright. And this happens because the power of the mind, which is inside us, is the power of life that we have inside us. This is called etheric inside. It's the power of life that we have inside us. Comes out through the eyes and through the pupil, actually, of the eye. So, because the eye is directly connected with our mind inside here in our brain, is bright, because the mind is light. And this is what never disappears even after death. You go away from your body with the soul, and the core of the soul is the mind, which we call nous in Greek, in the Greek language. So what happens is that the one that is at the steering wheel is the way of thinking, is my mind, and this will steer the boat, my body, through life. And what I have to do is take the oars, my hands are the oars, and try to row the boat. These are the actions that we do. Because we act with our hands, we don't act with our legs. And the power that we need in order to act derives from our heart. That's why the arms and the hands are like an extension of our heart. So it's at this point, it's not here. So we act, and the willpower that we have, if we don't have the willpower, we don't act. This willpower is Poseidon. And you must learn to go through the gate of sorrowness, of the dark, negative feelings, and come out of it with in a victorious way. The whole philosophy aims at that. How to handle negative feelings so that you transform your sentimental state from a sea to a lake. And that's why we have two gods in our mythology that have the name of Limneos and Limnatis, which means the one of the lake. And the goddess which has this name is characterized by this name Limnatis, which means somebody that helps you to make your sentimental state a lake, is the goddess Artemis, which is Diana. And she's an archer because she shows you what you have to aim at. And what you have to aim at is denoted by her name, because Artemis is arete, and arete means virtue. So the first thing you have to aim at is virtue. Try to be fair, try not to be bad to other people, be fair with yourself as well. So the first thing is the virtue. And the second god that has this name, that has to do with a lake, is Dionysus. He is called Limneos, which means that he has to do with a lake, because Dionysus is the king of our world. And I will end my talk today, my brief talk, with the analysis of the word Dionysus. Dionysus is Dios nous, which means the mind of Zeus. So Dionysus is the mind, the god that protects your mind when it comes inside a body. And it has to stay intact in order to be able to go through the gate. And what we find here as a challenge is to clear our sentimental state, which is Poseidon. But at the end, we reach Ithaca. The point is to focus on our essence, which is the mind. Thanks a lot for attending this brief talk. If you want to ask me something, anything, I will be glad to answer if I can, whatever questions you may have.